We're getting ready to start Chapter 2, which is all about multiplying and dividing fractions. But before we start this chapter, I just wanted to take a moment to review really the anatomy of a fraction. The numerator is the number that is on top in a fraction, and it tells you how many parts you have or how many parts you're interested in. The denominator is on the bottom, and it tells you the number of equal pieces that your whole has been divided into. If your numerator is larger than your denominator, you can change the fraction into a mixed number. And of course, if your numerator is smaller than your denominator, then you have a number that has a value less than 1. So let's take a look at a simple multiplication problem. For example, 3 times 2. Now, we know that multiplication is simply repeated addition, and this is telling us that we have 3 groups of 2. So we would have 2 plus 2 plus 2, and we all know that that is equal to a sum of 6. But what happens when we change this? And so now we have a whole number, such as 3, but this time we're multiplying it times a fraction, such as 1/5. The same thing is occurring in this problem as happened in 3 times 2. We have 3 groups, but this time we have 3 groups of 1/5. And we could show that as 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5. And we know from adding fractions that when we have the same denominator, we keep the denominator 5, and we just simply add our numerators 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is 3. Repeated addition is not always the most efficient way of doing something, so that's where multiplication really comes in handy. And in this example, we can take our whole number 3 and write it as the fraction 3 over 1, which means we have 3 pieces, and each piece is equal to 1 whole. And we want to multiply that times 1/5. 3 times 1 is equal to 3, and 1 times 5 is equal to 5. Let's take a look at another example. Here we have 6 times 2/3. Well, I could continue to do my repeated addition, and I'd have 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3. Oh my gosh, that's a lot to say. And of course, if I did that, I could add all those up, and I would get 12/3, which is the same as the whole number 4. But of course, the faster way would be to simply put a 1 here underneath my numerator 6 and multiply 6 times 2, I would get 12. 1 times 3, I get 3, and I can simplify this to the whole number 4. Let's take a look at another problem. This is 2/7 times 4. Well, I've changed the order. My whole number isn't first now, but that doesn't make a difference. We know that multiplication is commutative. So I can do the same process that I've been doing. I'm simply going to add a denominator of 1 under my 4, and I can do the same thing that I was doing in the previous problems. 2 times 4 is 8. 7 times 1 is 7. I have 8/7, which I can simplify into the mixed number 1 and 1/7. Okay, so I want you to try these problems. Secret problem number 1, 4 times 1/8. And then secret problem number 2, 3/4 times 5. Go ahead and do those on your paper and simplify them if you can, because you're going to need to submit those answers to me in just a moment.